All right, I am starting here with these glass jars. I got a 4-pack in gold, but they do also come in silver. And I'm gonna put my coffee syrups in these. All you do is you take this little tube piece and insert it into the rest of the top there. And I, of course, did wash these first. Warning, they do take a while to dry, so I do recommend washing them ahead of time and giving them ample time to dry before you use them. And here I am just pouring in some of my syrup. Now, I will tell you, I recommend putting the lid on these jars first and then the label. That is what I'm doing here, but you will notice that I'm not aligning the label with the front of the jar where the syrup would come out of the pump. And I realized that no matter how many times I unscrewed the lid and tried to get it to line up, it didn't. So in order to have the pump in front where you want to put your cup and pump the syrup into it, it means the label's going to be misaligned, and you can kind of see there where I'm holding it up. So definitely put the lid on and then put your label on and make sure to align it properly. These stickers did come with these jars, and it also did come with some blank ones, which you will see later on I will use. And actually, I did end up removing these two labels because, once again, they were misaligned. They actually were pretty easy to remove. So if you do make a mistake, that is one thing about these jars. The labels are easy to remove. Okay, next, I bought these two mats off of Amazon. I'm sure you can find something similar at Temu. I just went with Amazon for these. And I went with simple black, but they have a million colors and patterns and all of the things. And what I liked about these is that you can actually cut them to size. So I'm showing you here, they are sort of a rubbery material with a non-slip bottom. The bottom is labeled with a sticker there. And right now I'm just starting by taking them out of the package, and I'm going to actually lay some things on them just to get them to try to flatten out a little bit. So I'm just going to put some heavy jars on there, some of my other coffee syrups, and again, I'm just going to leave that for a little while just to flatten these out. I did get this cute little coffee pod holder. You can put a number of things in here. This is from Temu, and I am going to use this for our coffee pods for our Keurig. And so I'm just going to pour those in here. It does hold a decent amount, I will say. That is a small box there. I think there were 12 in that box, and it does hold all of those with some room to spare, as you can see. Alright, and I am starting by giving the shelf a good wipe down. I cleared everything off except the top shelf. Now this piece of furniture is from Temu. Yes, I did get it from Temu. There were tons and tons of great options for coffee bars on Temu, but as you can see, I am trying to fit a very specific space here, so this is the one I went with. And now I'm just putting those coffee mats down, and I'm actually going to go ahead and cut them to size because they were too long. I could have gotten a wider mat and just used one, but I kind of wanted two separate ones since we do have two machines that I will be putting on here. So once again, I am just cutting these to fit, and they're very easy to cut. You just use regular scissors. I definitely did not do the neatest job, but it's fine. I just ended up putting the cut edge towards the back, and you can't even see it because the coffee machines are on top of them anyway. So now I'm placing them out, and in a minute you are going to see the biggest blunder, because although I measured the width of this piece of furniture to make sure it would fit in the space, I did not actually measure my coffee machine to make sure it would fit on this furniture piece. So I'm going to bring over my coffee machine, which is quite big. I have a Philips automatic espresso machine, and it doesn't fit. And I know I'm in the way, but it doesn't fit. So there's that third shelf there. It doesn't fit underneath it. And so, yeah, I tried even sideways and that didn't work either. So I was very bummed out. So here I'm bringing over the Keurig, which absolutely fits. And this is my first setup of this coffee bar. You will see I actually kind of redo it a couple times because I need to get my coffee machine to fit. I cannot return this furniture piece. I am not buying something else, and I don't want my coffee machine on my counter, so I'm going to figure it out. So right now I'm just placing those couple coffee syrups on this little tray. I did get this tray from Temu. It came with something from Temu that I already had, so I just reused it here. I got the sugar bowl from Temu as well, and there's that coffee pot holder that you already saw, and then my milk frother that I already had. And I got that little rainbow coffee scooper spoon from Temu as well. And here is another jar very similar to the first one, except it doesn't have the handle. And I just put some towels in there that I use for when I make my coffee. And they don't look the greatest, but I take one out and use them every day. I'm putting some of this little decor up. And again, this is going to just be my first version of this coffee bar. You will see in a minute. I'm going to actually go ahead and take everything off again and redo it once again. So this is version 1. I didn't love it, but I knew it was only temporary. And so a couple days later, what I actually ended up doing is removing the shelf. So that shelf where you see the towels that are on the shelf right above the blue Keurig there, luckily I was able to unscrew that from the sides and just completely remove that. The sort of backer board that you see behind it is still there, as you can see now, but the actual shelf is gone, which means I can now fit my coffee maker there. So I got super lucky that I happened to pick a furniture piece where the shelf was removable. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done. Okay, so here I'm bringing back my coffee machine and just rearranging all of that on there. And one thing I really like about this furniture piece is it actually has a set of plugs right on the shelf there. You can see where I'm plugging things in. It has 2 outlets and 2 USB ports, so I can actually plug things right into the shelf, and then the shelf just has its own plug that plugs in also. So now I'm just basically bringing in everything that I already had on there, and again, almost all of these items are from Temu, and this is version 2. You will see there is going to be another version, but the K-cup holder is from Temu, the coffee syrup jars, the gold sugar bowl. Again, of course, the furniture piece itself is also from Temu. And I will go ahead and try to link everything below that I can. The coffee scoop, that little basket where I have some towels. And those 2 things I just put up, they were not from Temu, I don't believe, but this little tiered tray decor that I now have, that came in a set, and that was from Temu as well. They don't stand on their own because they're made for tiered trays, so just know that you will need to either, have some kind of stand for them or prop them up against something. I'm just putting my extra syrups up on top here. I do have 2 other jars for syrups that I will go ahead and fill a little bit later on, but for now I'm just putting them up at the top. And I also have this little plant hanger from Temu as well as the little fake plant there. And that plant hanger will eventually be hung from the ceiling, but for now I just put it there in the corner, and I do really like the way it looks. I think it looks really cute. So once again, this is version 2 of the coffee bar, and here I'm going to show you a close-up in a second. And I wasn't too happy with the way this turned out. It felt a little bit crowded, especially down by the actual coffee makers. I was only able to fit the 2 syrup pumps, which is sort of why I needed another solution. And in a second, you will see what I came up with for that, but I'm going to show you a close-up here. A reason why I went with this shelf, besides the fact that it fit in my space, is because it did have those top shelves where I could put extra decor or, you know, extra coffee supplies. And now you will see my solution to the bottom where I didn't have enough room. I got this 3-tier storage rack, and this is actually made for the syrup bottles. But the glass jars actually fit perfect on there as well. So this is from Temu as well, and as I said, I will try to link it below. And what's nice about these is they sort of nest into each other, and this was perfect for this space. It gave me more space to put items, but also, as you can see, the bottoms are open, so it still allows me to utilize the plugs that are built in to this piece of furniture. So here I'm just unplugging them and then sort of plugging them underneath this syrup holder shelf so that I can still use the plugs and that they're not in the way. And once again, there are 3 of them, and so I'm putting some of those coffee syrups in there, and I will go ahead and rearrange everything once I get everything up there on the shelf. Alright, so now I'm going to take this opportunity to just refill my vanilla syrup there. I'm also going to fill a couple of the other syrup jars that I hadn't filled before, because now I can actually fit them where they need to go, down by the coffee machines. And you can see that I wrote the labels because they didn't have the flavors that I needed, and you may have caught this, but I did spell marshmallow wrong. I did catch it, and I added the W at the end. And I learned my lesson about putting the label on and making sure it's aligned. So here I am just filling those 2 other glass jars. And I really like these. They pump great, and I know exactly how many pumps I want to put in my coffee depending on what type of coffee I'm making. So these, in addition to looking nice, I think they really work well. So I'm putting 2 jars on each shelf. There was a little extra space left on each shelf, but not enough to fit a 3rd one of these syrup jars. So I'm putting 2 on each shelf, and then I'm just going to put a couple things in the middle. I'm putting some of my extra syrups in the back there, and they fit perfectly. Here I'm just trying to find a place for that sugar bowl. And of course you can see a lot of the stuff I went with is gold. That's just because the hardware in my kitchen is gold. But as I said, some of these things do come in other colors. Just trying to find a little spot for my decor there. And that basket of towels, I know it doesn't look great. I'm going to put that up there in a minute. If you guys have any suggestions on how I could more nicely display my towels, let me know, because I know they don't look great, but it needs to be practical also, right? It needs to be able to be usable. So just putting some of my extra things. These are some little marshmallow and chocolate stirrers, just sticking those in there. And I will go ahead and show you a close-up as well when this is all finished. And here we are. This is the finished product version 3. I do really like it now. I love the coffee syrup setup. It looks nice, but it's also very practical and very usable. You can see all the flavors. You can get to everything that you need. And I love how it turned out. This hanging rod I already had from IKEA, and I love the way it looks here. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think below. Thanks so much for watching.